Oh buddy, what is up everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to be looking at how we can get a young Fazo style rap vocal effect. Definitely new age sing-song, so Fago, you know, the new wave. We're going to be focusing on how we can get a really nice upfront treble vocal sound. I know a lot of people in the comments have been posting for me to do a lot of newer wave stuff, so we're going to get into it. Definitely check out the link below for this FLP VST version available as well. Kind of leave that source for you. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of free alternatives to paid plugins that you can make use of. All the download links are included, as well as a tutorial on how you can actually get this going. But nonetheless, man, you know, let's get into it. So track we'll be remixing today will be the Hell Yeah track. You know, I've been listening to a lot of new age stuff and I quite like the song. Definitely think it has a vibe to it. But nonetheless, let's play the track and then we'll break down the vocal mix and show you some techniques. Let's get it.
Whoa, yeah. All the girls at this party be like, hell yeah. Rolling loud in the crowd, be like, hell yeah. Foreign car, drive that bitch like, hell yeah. I'm like, hell yeah. My new girl a Barbie, hell yeah. Playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi. I just play the game, yeah, but it's not Atari. Finna pull up, drop top, new Ferrari. Might cut a hoe off, no, I'm not sorry. Woke up late, put in work, bitch, I stress hardly. Bobbing jeans with Supreme, yeah, I'm so saucy. Purple rain in my cup, bitch, I'm so gnarly.
Alrighty, there you go. So that should give you an idea of what it is that we're going to be working with today. Yeah, you know, I try to use the cheapest mic I could find. So I've got a blue, this is an old mic by now. This is a blue Spark. It's pretty much broken. And, you know, it sounds, you can still get something usable, you know. So if I was to bypass the vocal chain so you can hear the difference of quality, right?
Out in the crowd, be like, hell yeah. Foreign car, drive that bitch like, hell yeah.
Right, same thing for the free VST version, right?
Hell yeah, playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi. I just play the game, yeah, but it's not Atari.
You know, we want that nice and upfront sound. Okay, but nonetheless, man, let's break it down. So, you know, we always start off, for those who don't know how to use a template format, you know, as I said, there is a beginner, you know, instruction video included, but definitely check out the vocal mixing course and vocal recording course if you want to learn about my whole layout. Once you understand my template format, you understand how a studio works, how you can route things, how you can maximize your, you know, your vocal sound. So, yeah, man. What I like to do is I like to have a input section or a mic input section where I'm going to be adding my microphone. Okay, so if you go to interface, you'll just add in input 1 or input 2 or wherever your mic is plugged in, and then you'll have access to be able to route that input into any of these vocal chains. Okay, so in this template we have a main vocal chain or main vocal section, right? 2 of them, so that you've got 2 for a dry ad-lib and a main vocal, or if you've got your auto-tunes overlapping, you can put a second vocal here with another auto-tune. You know, you get the idea. That is routed to the vocal chain, right? Obviously that's going to be the main source of this template. But you know, we also have our doublers, got our wet ad-libs if you want a more reverby spacious sound tucked behind the vocal. We have that. And you know, this template format allows you to control left click and then pretty much route into any other vocal chain and then listen and record, you know, during the get-go. You know, let me just play this clip right here from I was watching some Fazo studio vlogs, and you can pretty much see.
Connected to there, it's supposed to be under chain 2 because that's what the preset's on. No.
Right, that a template is important, right? If you want to be getting these types of sounds consistently, you do need some sort of template to help you kind of get there from the beginning. So yeah, that's pretty much why a template is important. But yeah, let's break down the main vocal chain. So on the main vocal, we always start off with the auto-tune. Okay, new age stuff is always gonna have some auto-tune on it. I personally like to use auto-tune. I like to use auto-tune 8, but again, you can use whatever you're using, EFX, Axis, whatever the new stuff is. I prefer this version. But yeah, retune speed 0, we keep it really basic, and then we are just making sure our key is set to the beats key as well, and we should be good to go. I like to use a NoiseGate, you know, on microphones, you know, that are a bit noisy. So the Blue Spark definitely is noisy, so we got a bit of NoiseGate going on right there. For your reference, man, you can download this plugin called the pretty much it's the TB, I forget what company it is, but anyway, TB Pro Audio. They've got a My Meter plugin, and you know, I like to record with this, or pretty much just to check how loud I'm gonna be hitting the vocal chain. Okay, so for reference, I like to record or have the vocals sounding or hitting between -7 and 0 VU before hitting the vocal chain. Okay, this is important because it means that all of the plugins are going to be getting signal at the right level. Okay, we don't want to overdrive our vocals into a vocal chain. Otherwise we might end up with crazy kind of digital distortion, internal distortion. We don't want that. You might not see clipping on the meter, but internally some of these plugins are going to be going overboard, especially your compressors. You know, you don't want to hit those the wrong way. So, you know, I like to measure how loud I'm hitting, so you can see, just pay attention to this meter between -7 and 0.
Out in the crowd, be like, hell yeah. Foreign car, drive that bitch like, hell yeah. I'm like, hell yeah. My new girl a Barbie, hell yeah.
So you can see -10, that's fine, you know, as long as it's not clipping, okay? We don't want to be exceeding around 0 dB. That's kind of when plugins start to sound a bit weird. But nonetheless, once we hit our vocal chain, okay, I'm going to be starting off every mix. Actually add this last, those who know. I'm going to be adding this last, but this is the Farai's Vocal Enhancer. You can check this out in the description as well. And this is essentially a saturation plugin that's going to be adding on all of that extra analog sound. Since I'm not mixing these vocals on a console, I still want that kind of old school saturation. The sound is going to be forever timeless because it's just something that our ears are accustomed to. We want that natural kind of distortion. And this plugin, or this patcher preset that we've made, is definitely going to help you get that sound, right? I've actually turned up the tube drive. I don't usually crank this up, but I've cranked it up quite a bit. If I was to kind of mess around with this a little bit, you can hear how much more character we get, right?
Out in the crowd, be like, hell yeah. Foreign car, drive that bitch like, hell yeah.
So obviously that is when we distort it, but when you blend it in just a little bit, I'm doing 14% a tube drive, we really get a beautiful sound. We can also kind of drive the input, right?
Out in the crowd, be like, hell yeah. Foreign car, drive that bitch.
And that sounds really good, right? I've kind of done as much as I should, so there's no need to adjust it. You also have a tone control, so if you feel your vocals might be a bit too bright, you can just adjust this. This is why I like to add this last, because I can pretty much then just say, maybe I want a little bit more warmth in the vocal. I can slide this knob over to the left, right? It's pretty easy. If I want a bit more air, slide it over to the right. We also have an SSL style EQ in a kind of Pultec format, right, where we can kind of get rid of some of the mud or boost a little bit of mud. I'm doing a very slight cut on the mud, a little bit of bass reduction, tiny bit, like a %. And then we're not doing any treble boost because I'm quite happy with the treble that we're able to do on the rest of the mix. But yeah, you know, just do your gain staging and you got a nice sound, right? So check this out.
Out in the crowd, be like, hell yeah. Foreign car, drive that bitch like, hell yeah.
Just kind of adding that last bit of like stress. I call it like vocal stress. You know, you want a little bit of that in your vocal sound. But yeah, after that, man, everything in green, EQ, everything in okay, we got one de-esser, so that's just a singular color, compression in orange, and then effects in dark blue. But yeah, EQ wise, you know, I'm doing SSL EQ. I'm doing quite a lot of cut at 200, almost 10 dB, because I don't want any bass in these types of mixes when it comes to the vocal. Want to get rid of that so that we kind of have this nice airiness to our vocal sound. You know, 80 hertz high pass filter, just cutting away some of that bass we don't want. 200 cut, -2.5 dB, 3K boost, just a little bit of a, you know, that's what I'm going to do on every vocal mix pretty much. And again, we're getting pretty crazy because we want that treble sound in our vocals, so we're going for about 4.7 dB of 8K, which is adding a nice amount of treble. That's kind of lifting up our vocal, right? But in order for us to kind of catch all of that treble, we add a de-esser, okay? I've got a cool preset in here that you can check out right here. Okay, a little bit of de-essing going on, but again, we're not doing much, right? So
Playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi. I just play the game, yeah, but it's not Atari.
Not a ta-ta. All of those are going to get cut, but we want the rest of the kind of shine to pass through. So, you know, we don't want to make it sound lispy. We want it to sound bright. That's kind of the point. Okay, so a little bit of de-essing. After that, once we've kind of de-essed our vocal and it's manageable, we can then do another treble boost if need be. This is at 30,000 hertz, so it's really slightly lifting up. You know, it's not going to be doing 5 dB at 10K or 15K. It's going to be doing about, what is that, maybe like 2 dB if we were just to look. 2 dB, right? At 20K, it's doing 4 dB. So you can kind of see how, you know, us boosting high up there is going to just kind of give us a nice little Mag EQ style sound for those who know the hardware plugin. Again, we're just getting rid of stuff we don't like. This is something I learned from Seth Ferkins, is that the 808 and the vocal are going to always clash. So you want to kind of tuck away, you know, where that bass and where those instruments are supposed to exist. You want to make sure they don't clash with the vocals. So a little bit of subtractive EQ again on the FreeBSD version. I always write here, tailor to your vocal EQ. Just kind of skim around. You know, the best thing you can do, so for example, is just to do that, skim around this range. You know, wherever you're finding that you've got a lot of energy, a lot of kind of gunkiness, you can kind of just tuck that away. Don't go too crazy, you know, doing cuts like this. You know, just something small, and then just work on it and kind of sculpt it, and you'll get a good sound, you know. So mess around with that, you know, and see what you can get. But yeah, that's pretty much our EQ. Again, we're doing parallel fresh air. Now I do have a plugin here which I'll leave for the people who cop this, but we do have a Air Windows plugin, Purest Air. I'll leave the presets there for you, but this pretty much sounds the same, as you can see.
Yeah, playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi. I just play the game, yeah, but it's not Atari. Finna pull up, drop top.
You know, when we blend everything together, we get that kind of distortion.
Yeah, playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi.
You know, and we really get that cutting sounding vocal. But yeah, again, you can download this plugin for free. I think it's still free, but I'm just using this in parallel, and we're boosting the hell out of the high air, getting that mid air. The mid air is important as well. It kind of solidifies the vocal, but it's a little bit of parallel on that. And then we're using a analog style compressor. We have the Colin on the FreeVST version. This right here from Analog Obsession actually sounds really good. This is pretty cool, but again, this is emulating tube, so this is a tube style compressor. Again, over here we have a tube style compressor, and all this compressor is doing is it's compressing when it needs to, right, on the loudest parts. So it's doing about 1 to 2 dB of compression, but most importantly, it's adding a little bit of vibe to our vocal sound. Okay, we want to stack up on that compression so we can really get our vocals to cut through and sound good on speaker systems when you're performing. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're doing. After that, just a little bit of kind of flanger, just to kind of widen the vocal very slightly, nothing crazy. We don't want to make our vocal too wide, we want it to be dry. We can do that with our backgrounds, make them wide. But after that, what I actually did this time around was add in a little bit of RVox. Okay, you're not going to get away without using some sort of compressor that adds some sort of magical saturation. For those who are using FreeVSTs, I've added something, man. Bus Color 4, we're using a certain preset on Bus Color 4 that is going to help you turn a stock compressor into something magical. So yeah, there you go. If I was actually to turn this off,
Playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi.
Doesn't sound finished, right?
Playboy, bitch, I think I'm Cardi.
Sounds a bit more finished. So cool stuff. That's pretty much what we're doing right there. Background vocals, nothing crazy. We don't want to go too crazy. All I'm really doing here is a bit of flange and EQ. A little bit of EQ, a little bit of flanger. I'll leave that for you to check out. Over here we have wet ad-libs. So one thing you can do with this type of music is you can have the reverb be kind of a short delay, meaning it's not going to kind of space, right? Or you could have it really long. I think I wanted for more long sounding reverb. Just a little bit of space. But if you wanted to cut down on that time, you could just turn on the decay, right? So we're going to go for 3.4. Or just turn it off, right? And if you really wanted a dry sounding ad-lib that sounded exactly the same, you can add this into here and then just run that through the main vocal chain, and then you can kind of get that direct dry sounding ad-lib, right? It's really up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much all we're doing, man. We got a treble boosting preset as well. Sometimes I want to create a parallel send on the main vocals so that we can get a bit more treble out of there. That again is also included in the FreeVST version. We got that preset right there, and altogether it sounds good. You can get your mixes done. You need a template if you're going to be working on music consistently every week. You load up your template once you've found a mixture of plugins that you like. Again, sometimes you might not need this EQ, you might not need that EQ, you might not need saturation, right? Maybe you've already got that in your voice, right? It's customizable. You may want to turn up the beat a little bit, right? Get a bit more weight out of the beat. It really comes down to each session, but having these tools in front of you is definitely going to help you get a better sound. But nonetheless, man, hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully you learned something. As always, check the links in the description for this preset, as well as links to my vocal recording course and vocal mixing course, which you can make use of if you want to upgrade your game and run a nice little studio out of your bedroom or lounge, doesn't matter. But nonetheless, man, stay well. I'll check you out next time. Peace out.